Welcome back to class. This is Fictional History 101, and I'm your fictional professor, Aaron Johnson. We've been covering Mobile Suit Gundam, in particular the One-Year War. At the end of our last class, we'd covered the shift in momentum that took place with the completion of Operation V. The Federation had begun to field mobile suits, and had won its first decisive victory at Odessa. The Federation forces had begun to ready their army for their next major step, taking the fight into space. Around this time, two other events would begin to take shape. As Zeon began to panic, realizing victory was no longer within their grasp, they began to rethink their strategy. There were two things they knew for sure after the failed attacks on Jabro. 1. The Federation headquarters could no longer be defeated by a conventional assault. And 2. The Gundam was a terrifying indicator of how advanced the Federation mobile suit program had become. With these two ideas in mind, let's look at two attempts by Zeon to sway the war back into their favor. The first attempt was the Apsalus Project. The Apsalus Project's roots go as far back as Operation British. With the failure to destroy Jabro via a colony drop, Zeon began to consider alternative methods to wiping out the Federation leadership. The plan they believed had the highest chance of success was to get a high-powered, very mobile unit to penetrate the air defenses of Jabro and lay waste to the surrounding area with high-powered weapons. This would involve the development of a weapons system that had firepower at least on par with many battleships of the time, as well as the mobility required to approach Jabro. The project was led by Genius Sahaline, a prominent member of Zeon's research and development team. Genius had gone to Earth after Zeon forces had landed, and had begun research on a means of attacking Jabro directly. By early November, they'd begun to finalize their first prototype of the Apsalus, and Genius invited his sister, Aina Sahaline, to join him at the base. Aina was to serve as the test pilot of the Apsalus 1. The Apsalus was meant to meet the requirements of attacking Jabro. It was meant to fly at near atmospheric altitudes, and also planned to bear powerful megaparticle cannons. In its original form, the Apsalus 1, the unit was a large mobile armor, nearly 3 or 4 times the size of contemporary mobile suits. While this version would be unarmed, it served more as a test platform of the MSG craft system, which would enable its high level of mobility. It should be noted that the Federation already had begun to employ Minovsky craft systems on their Pegasus-class assault carriers, indicating another area they had surpassed Zeon in. As Aina's mobile suit squad approached Earth, she had an encounter with a Federation mobile suit pilot, Shiro Amada. Shiro and Aina fought one another to a standstill, destroying each other's units in the space above Earth. Both were stranded and with no means to contact their respective sides for rescue, and so they worked together to signal rescue teams to their location. Although their contact was brief, it left the two of them marked by the event, and they had a growing fondness for one another. While Shiro met with the members of his mobile suit squad on Earth, the 8th MS team, Aina went into the mountains near Shiro's deployment to meet with Genius. She promptly began running test flights of the Apsalus 1. Although mechanical problems caused an early end to the test, the Apsalus was able to return to Zeon territory, and the data was used to improve the following unit. The upgraded Apsalus 2 was fitted with a particle cannon and began test flights shortly afterwards. During a test of the Apsalus 2, Shiro and the 8th MS team ambushed the prototype mobile armor with the intent of destroying or capturing the unit. Although Aina was able to escape the members of Shiro's team, Shiro himself was able to grab hold of the escaping Apsalus unit with his mobile suit. Unable to escape with the mobile suit hanging onto the Apsalus, Aina and Shiro crashed into the mountains. Again forced to rely on one another to survive, the two found their bond deepening. When rescued by their respective sides, Shiro faced a court-martial to investigate whether he was in reality a Zeon agent, while Aina readied herself to pilot the completed Apsalus 3 prototype. While Shiro would be cleared of charges, the allegations hung over him and his team. It was about this time that Operation Odessa was ending in victory for the Federation forces. Rear Admiral Yuri Kellerine, who had fought at Odessa, began to retreat towards Genius's research facility. He informed Genius that the Apsalus Project would be cancelled, and that all Zeon forces were preparing to retreat using the ship that Genius had at his facility, the Kerguelen. Genius refused this, choosing instead to continue work on the Apsalus in the hopes that it would still win the war. When Kellerine arrived at the base, Genius killed him and his aides in order to stop word of the continued development from getting back to Zeon command. The Apsalus 3 would be completed shortly afterwards. By this time, Federation forces had begun their assault on the base. They hoped to capture the base, as well as prevent the retreating Zeon forces from rejoining their allies in space. Guineus and Aina sortied out from the base at the completed Apsalus 3, planning to stall the Federation forces long enough for the escaping Zeon ship to leave orbit. Aina gave the Federation forces an ultimatum. Do not advance on the base until the evacuees have left orbit, or we will destroy all the forces in the area. It was at this time that Guineus saw an opportunity to strike at the Federation, as well as prove the power of his completed Apsalus unit. Launching a first strike on the Federation forces arrayed against them, the Apsalus 3 used its megaparticle cannon to devastate the Federation forces at the base of the mountain. In retaliation, Federation forces shot down the escaping Zeon hospital ship. Realizing that her brother Guineus had gone mad, and was willing to kill anyone or anything to get what he wanted, Aina defected from Zeon. She joined with Shiro Amada and his team. Together, they launched an assault on the Apsalus 3 and were able to disable it. Guineus was killed inside the completed Apsalus, while Shiro Amada and Aina Sahaline would be pronounced missing in action after the battle. The Apsalus Project typified many of the Zeon ideas about how the war would be won. It was far from the first and certainly not the only powerful mobile armor developed. Zeon would produce a variety of mobile armors, such as the Brow Bro and Elmeth new-type capable mobile armors, the high-mobility Zaku Reuse, which relied on multiple amputees to pilot it, the colossal Big Zam, and the strangely designed Jeong, each with the expectation that they alone would be an invincible counter to the Earth Federation's military. While each unit produced was extremely dangerous, they could not compete with the increasingly overwhelming power of the Earth Federation's military, which relied more on large numbers and combined arms rather than a single winning weapon. It also showed a willingness in Zeon to back any program that showed any promise, rather than adopting more sensible machines into the Zeon military. It's worth remembering that the cost of development and early prototyping would have taken away from the war effort as a whole. While it's doubtable that Zeon would have been able to win if they had ignored these massive projects, they overall took away from Zeon's ability to produce proven mobile suit designs and other needed war material. There's another operation that occurred roughly at the same time that indicates Zeon leadership believed that the Federation was under the same illusion they were. Mid-December, Zeon forces discovered evidence of a new Gundam-type mobile suit in development at the Neutral Side 6. It was believed by some in Zeon that a new Gundam mobile suit would sway the war away from them. This completely ignored the massive Federation fleet that was on its way to attack Solomon at the time, as well as the utter collapse of the organized forces still on Earth. Zeon deployed the Cyclops team, a Special Forces mobile suit team, to either destroy or capture the enemy Gundam. In the event of their failure, Zeon planned to destroy the colony housing the development facilities of the Gundam with a nuclear attack. This plan would be known as Operation Rubicon. The Gundam Alex being developed was an improvement over the RX-78 Gundam. However, it was by no means in the same category as the Zeon mobile armors. This was meant to be a suit for those showing new type potential, boasting enhanced reflexes, a 360-degree panoramic cockpit display to replace the multiple monitors common in mobile suits at the time, and was not meant to be a line replacement for the GM suits. While it would be a useful unit, and showed some technology that would become standard in the coming decades, it would not be a weapon that would have changed the fate of the war on its own. Zeon forces under the command of Steiner Hardy infiltrated the colony while disguised as Earth Federation work crews, while Bernard Wiseman, the newest member of their team, arrived later smuggling a Comfer mobile suit that had been disguised as heavy construction equipment. During their infiltration, Bernard befriended a local child. The child, Alfred Izuhura, was interested in mobile suits and became friendly with the infiltrating Cyclops team. Alfred knew about the Hidden Federation research base in the colony, and aided Bernard in getting information on the base. With his help, they were able to find an alternate entrance to the facility. With the information from Alfred, the Cyclops team planned to attack the Federation base. The plan was to have one member of their team, Mikhail Kaminsky, attack the base and surrounding areas with the smuggled Comfer mobile suit, while Steiner and the two other members of the team infiltrated the base during the confusion. Mikhail launched his attack, engaging several Federation mobile suits that had been stationed within the colony. Disguised as Federation soldiers, Steiner's team was able to infiltrate the base in the confusion. They were able to locate the prototype Gundam Alex. However, while they were able to get close enough to the Gundam to begin planting explosives, They were discovered by the base's security, and a gun battle began in the hangar around the Gundam. Steiner and his men attempted to damage or destroy the Gundam, but were forced back by the base's security. One of the men died inside the base, while Bernard dragged a mortally wounded Steiner to safety outside of the base. Meanwhile, the Gundam Alex was activated and moved to engage the rampaging Mikhail. Although only minimally armed, the Gundam Alex was able to destroy the Kampfer and kill its pilot Mikhail within seconds. Steiner would die shortly afterwards of his wounds. As the only surviving member of the Cyclops team, Bernard knew that if he did not destroy the Gundam in time and report on the success of the mission, Zeon forces would arrive to destroy the colony in a nuclear strike. Wanting to save the people of the colony, as well as himself, he repaired his Zaku that had crashed inside the colony, and prepared for a final attack on the Gundam. He hoped to draw it into an ambush in a nearby forested area, planning to destroy it before it could counterattack. After preparing the area with decoy balloons and explosives, he launched an assault on the base in the repaired Zaku. Unfortunately, he was unaware that the ships deployed to attack the colony had been intercepted by the Federation Navy and destroyed en route to the colony. While he was in an underperforming Zaku, through the use of surprise and misdirection, he was able to disable the Gundam Alex, destroying its head and one of its arms. However, this came at the cost of his own life, as the Gundam impaled the Zaku on its beam saber, killing Bernard and destroying the mobile suit. Operation Rubicon marked several interesting insights into Zeon leadership. There was a real belief by some in Zeon that the war could still be won, even while Zeon forces were being pushed from the Earth, and the Federation was launching an attack on Solomon. Zeon didn't see the Gundam Alex as a weapon that would bolster an already ascendant Federation military, but rather one that could steal victory from Zeon. This dovetails into the second thought within Zeon, that single superweapons would win the day. The Gundam, as well as the Gundam Alex, were not meant for widespread use in the Federation military. They were high-performance suits that were meant more for aces and other high-performance pilots rather than the rank-and-file soldiers. Even when deployed this way, they were never viewed as invincible or as a trump card, but rather rallying symbols and methods of making high-quality pilots even better. The Federation understood that the Gundam was just another weapon in a developing arsenal of mobile suits, and treated it as such. Zeon, on the other hand, would not learn any of these lessons before the end of the war. Even in the final days of the war, Zeon prepared new mobile armors, such as the previously mentioned Jeong and Big Zam, as well as the Dolos heavy carrier, which outweighed even the largest vessels at the time. Rather than understanding war as a series of battles fought over a long stretch of time, Zeon still focused on making the most powerful weapons possible, hoping for a decisive victory that would never come. By this time, the 1-year war was nearly over. As we went over last class, the reformed Federation space fleet was heading towards Solomon, intending to break through the Zeon defensive line and take the fight back to Side 3. Zeon was running out of supplies and soldiers, while the Federation was drawing closer to the seat of Zeon's power. By this time, it was less a question of if the Federation could win the war, but when, and at what cost. I think that does it for today. I want to thank you for joining class today. Make sure that you finish Mobile Suit Gundam for our next class, where we'll be talking about the battles of Solomon and Abao Ku, as well as the infighting that began to take place within the Zabi family. Although there's less than a month left in the 1-year war, there's still plenty that takes place during that time. I want to thank you all again for joining our class, and please, don't forget to study. The intro and outro music for this class is Labyrinth by Enrico Altavia, courtesy of freesoundtrackmusic.com. I want to thank you again for joining today's class. I'm looking forward to wrapping up Mobile Suit Gundam. Once I've finished with Gundam, we'll be taking a short break and coming back to another fictional setting. After that, perhaps we'll circle back to Gundam. If you have any comments, please feel free to email me at fictionalhistory101@gmail.com or leave a review on iTunes. Thanks again for listening and have a nice night.